Hello everyone there. This is Smita Bajpayee, TDT Bio from Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1, Armapur, Kanpur. I am presenting a video on the topic combustion. This topic has been selected from the science textbook NCERT of class 8th. Before starting with this topic, I would like to share a motivational thought given by our former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He stated, difficulties in your life do not come to destroy you, but to help you realize your hidden potential and power. Let difficulties know that you too are difficult. On that note, we begin with our topic, combustion. Children, combustion is the chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to produce heat. That is known as combustion. In your daily life, you might have come across a large number of fuels like cow dung, wood, coal, charcoal, petrol, diesel, CNG, etc. In these pictures, some of the fuels are shown. Kerosene oil is being used in the lantern. This auto is using CNG, that is compressed natural gas. Wood is also a kind of fuel and LPG is used in our kitchens. We all are very familiar with it. Fuel, बच्चों, जिसे हिंदी में हम कहते हैं ईंधन. So these are the examples of fuel. Now, when it comes to burning, we can understand that combustion and burning are one and the same thing. Burning, B-U-R-N-I-N-G, this is also a synonym for combustion. Now, what are the requirements for burning? So let's start with the first requirement, that is air. Air is necessary for burning, and this we can prove with the help of an activity for which you have to do some simple arrangements. Fix a lighted candle on your table, put a glass chimney over the table and rest it on a few wooden blocks in such a way so that air can enter the chimney. Observe what happens to the flame of the candle. In the next step, what you have to do? Remove the wooden blocks and let the chimney rest on the table. Again observe the flame. You will definitely notice some difference. And lastly, you have to put glass plate over the chimney and observe the flame again. Students, this is the experimental setup for the activity. See, in the first case, wooden blocks are there, so the air is entering the chimney freely, from bottom side also and from the top side also. Therefore, what you will observe? You will observe that the candle burns freely in A because air enters the chimney from below as well as from above. In the second case, you see there are no wooden blocks. These wooden blocks have been removed in case B. So the candle stops burning in B after some time because air does not enter the chimney from below. It is only coming from one side. And in the third setup, you have covered the chimney with a glass plate. This is the glass plate. And in the third case, you will see that the candle does not burn at all because the air is not available. Air has oxygen content in it. We have studied that air has 21% of oxygen in it, which supports burning. So this activity clearly demonstrates that air is necessary for burning. And which component of the air? Children, oxygen of the air is necessary for burning. So that was the one factor, that is air. Now the second factor, which is essential for creating fire, is the heat. We have studied in class 7th that degree of hotness of an object is known as its temperature. So this is how heat and temperature are related with each other. This temperature can be measured by a device called thermometer. So, coming to the ignition temperature. What is the ignition temperature? The minimum temperature at which a substance catches fire and burns is known as the ignition temperature of the substance. And you should have this in your mind that a substance will not catch fire or burn if its temperature is lower than its ignition temperature. So in other words, we can say that this is the minimum amount of heat which is required to ignite a fuel. I hope this is clear to you. Here are the ignition temperature of some materials given. Now, there is a CCT question for you. Children, we all know that CCT, that is creative and critical thinking, has become a part and parcel of our studies, in which we give our children some additional knowledge. So my CCT question is, what is auto ignition temperature? So keep guessing like this guy. He is guessing deeply, thinking deeply. You also have a deep thought and write your answer in the comment section of this video. It's time now to wear your thinking cap once again. Which of the following has lower ignition temperature? This is the first question of my quiz time. Quiz is the thing which children enjoy the most. Your options are wood, paper, vegetable oil, and kerosene oil. My hint is the thing which catches fire very easily, that has lower ignition temperature. I hope you have guessed the answer. And the second question of my quiz is, what happens to the ignition temperature of a substance as the oxygen concentration decreases? अगर हम ऑक्सीजन कॉन्सेंट्रेशन को डिक्रीज कर दें तो इग्निशन टेम्परेचर पर क्या इफेक्ट होगा? Ignition temperature would increase, it would decrease, it would remain the same, or none of the above. I hope my children have guessed it rightly because they always think in the right direction. They are very smart students. So the right answer for the first question is kerosene oil. It catches fire more readily as compared to the other three. So it has lowest ignition temperature. And the answer of the second quiz question is ignition temperature of a substance increases. First one, it increases as the oxygen concentration decreases. Just now we have studied that oxygen is one of the components for creating fire. So if the oxygen content is decreasing, then obviously you have to supply more amount of heat. So ignition temperature would increase. Okay, children? Even if you haven't got the correct answer, don't worry. I have another question for you. Do you know what is the difference between flammable and inflammable substances? What do you think? Nothing. They are the same. Well, we can say that they are synonyms. So please don't get confused. You have studied a lot of synonyms in your English language. So similarly, I would like to say that flammable and inflammable, these are the synonyms. Then the question arises, if flammable and inflammable substances are synonyms, that means they catch fire readily. Then what do we call the substances which do not catch fire easily or do not burn easily? Well, the answer is they are known as non-inflammable substances. So, flammable and non-inflammable, these are the antonyms, and flammable and inflammable, these are the synonyms. This is called interdisciplinary approach. With this discussion, we can conclude that the conditions necessary for combustion are fuel, heat, and air, that is having oxygen content in it. So in front of you is a fire triangle. These three things have to be there in order to create a fire. Now children, just give it a second thought. if we can create fire by these three things, can't we put off fire by removing one of the component? Of course, we can. So now we are focusing on ways to control the fire. And the picture itself shows you that this is a person from fire brigade who is putting water on the fire just to blow it off. So the most natural answer comes is how to control fire. It is by water. You know that once the fire starts, जब एक बार आग लगनी शुरू हो जाती है, it provides heat and keeps burning. That is why throwing water on a fire puts it out. Why? In what way water helps? Children, when water hits fire, it boils. What boils? Water boils. It stands for water here. Water starts to boil, turns to steam, changes its state. From the liquid state, it comes to its vapor state, and on becoming steam, it floats away, taking some heat with it. So slowly, the heat is put off. Moreover, water also prevents oxygen from reaching the fuel. So this is one way to control the fire. But the question is, can water be used to control the oil and petrol fires? And the answer is a big no, not at all. Then what is the remedy if the fire is made by oil or petrol? Well, children, oil and petrol are lighter and they float on the water. Thus, they continue to burn. Then how to control this kind of fire? CO2 comes as a remedy. Yes, children, you have studied about carbon dioxide gas. And this is one of the very positive aspects of carbon dioxide gas. Since carbon dioxide gas is heavier than oxygen, it covers the fire like a blanket and cuts off the supply of oxygen and puts off the fire. This is the picture of fire extinguisher. You must have observed this while going to the malls, to your school laboratories, and at other workplaces also. So in our next slide, let's have a closer look at the fire extinguisher and its parts. This is the hose pipe from where the carbon dioxide gas is expelled out. Now children, most fire extinguishers work by separating the fuel from the oxygen. Water was acting on the heat content and carbon dioxide is acting on the oxygen content. The oxygen comes from the air. It is the same oxygen that we breathe. Since the oxygen has to be in contact with the fuel for burning, बर्निंग के लिए जो हमारी ऑक्सीजन है उसको फ्यूल के कांटेक्ट में आना होता है. सो इफ यू कैन कोट द फ्यूल विद समथिंग दैट कीप्स द ऑक्सीजन अवे, द फायर विल नेचुरली गो out, and this something is nothing else than your carbon dioxide gas. So it coats the fuel and keeps the oxygen away. When there is no oxygen, there won't be any burning, there won't be any combustion, and the fire will go out within no time. Well children, to use this fire extinguisher, you have to follow the acronym PASS. This is again something related with English language, isn't it? PASS. P for pull, A for aim, S for squeeze, and again S for sweep. So let's practice this. First of all, while using the fire extinguisher, you have to pull the pin of the fire extinguisher. So here is the pull pin, very easy. Then you have to aim the extinguisher at the base of the fire. So this hose pipe from where the carbon dioxide gas comes out, it should be aimed at the base of the fire, not at the top of the fire. Okay. Then in the third step, you have to squeeze the handle. So here is the handle. You have to squeeze this handle, and then simply you have to sweep it back and forth. So this is the simple way by which we can use a fire extinguisher. Children, I hope that this will be beneficial for all my students. Hope to see you soon. Till then, goodbye, take care, stay healthy and happy. Thank you.